You are about to use one of the most advanced CD laser lens cleaning systems available. In just a matter of seconds, this disc will safely and thoroughly clean the delicate laser lens of your compact disc player. During the brief 20-second cleaning cycle, every bit of dirt and dust, right down to the smallest particles of airborne pollutants, will be swept away from the laser lens of your CD player. After this cleaning, your CD player will be more precise when reading the digital data recorded on your compact disc, providing you with outstanding reproduction as well as added clarity and detail. When you hear the tone, skip ahead to track 4 to begin the cleaning cycle.
Hello, wrestling fans, and welcome to Wrestler Weekly Presents. I'm your host, Scottie Richardson. We are back for Season 4. Everybody hold the 4 in the air like we used to back in the old days with the 4 Horsemen. Again, I'm your host, Scottie Richardson. Man, I am just excited. You guys wanted it. And I tell you, what a great day to sit here and to think about 4 seasons of this show on YouTube. If you have not subscribed, please do so. Give us a thumbs up after watching. Leave a comment, and you might be the Sunday Shoutout on Twitter. Hopefully you're following us on all of our social media outlets. Twitter at Wrestler Weekly, Facebook, Instagram, and that's right, here on YouTube. Thanks to Ted Nugent for bringing me in here with a little stranglehold. You know, if you read my book, Family Bacon Wrestling, which is on Amazon, you read about the FWA, and the FWA, this was my song to the ring. That's right, Stranglehold. And so, here we are, Season 4, Episode 1, and wearing my black t-shirt, surrounded by the logo Wrestler Weekly. You can find our t-shirts at prowrestlingtees.com/Wrestler Weekly. But this episode is all about Harley Race, 8 times NWA World's Heavyweight Champion, the King, the best in sports. He was the man. And, you know, this guy, I tell you, it was tough. I had a hard time with it, to be honest with you. I had a lot of friends that were sending me video tributes that people were doing, and just matches to maybe watch. And I had to kind of take a time out and just really reflect. I talked to my great friend, Austin Idol. We talk every day, and, you know, we were just reminiscing about Harley. And it was a piece of my childhood, and I'm sure yours as well, in the passing. So all of us here at Wrestler Weekly, which you know our team, my brother Reggie Richardson, the Doctor, Mike Leotis, the Grand Wizard, the genius himself, our team sends our deepest condolences and prayers to the Harley Race family. And so this episode, what I'm going to do is if you follow us on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, I put out a lot of information, a lot of Harley race memorabilia, and was magazines. I think I ended up doing something like 22, 23 posts, and it was all in honor of Harley Race. He was the world champion when I was, my first magazine, as you know, 1979, Ricky Steamboat on the cover. When you opened it up, champion was Harley Race. And so I'm going to show some Harley Race mags, and some of them I did not post, and most of them I did. But I want to start out with this magazine. This is a custom wrestling album number 8, and this thing is, I've shipped this thing all over the United States, and I've gotten a few of these in person, but just to name a few on this cover: Superstar Billy Graham, Bruno Sammartino, Tommy Wildfire Rich, Ricky Steamboat, Ric Flair, Bob Backlund, Hulk Hogan, and Harley Race. And you can see here, I got a pop up here. Let me close this out. But I've got Harley, if you see the glare. And so I'm in our season 4 studios here, which is in my man cave, and we'll be showing some of that stuff. I've finally framed some things and put some things on the wall, and if you follow us, you've probably seen a few of those things that are going up, and if it's not sentimental, it's not making the wall of fame here at Wrestler Weekly headquarters. So that's a big rule of mine. All right, what do we got? I've got 3 Harley Race posters. A lot of these you've seen on previous episodes. I don't think I've shown this one on an episode, but this is from Wrestling's Main Event, Harley Race. Glare out, there we go. Nice poster. The other 2 I know I've shown quite a bit. One of them I definitely shown. This one was on the Dave Milliken episode, which was back in season 3. This is the famous PWI poster with the 10 pounds of gold. And I can tell you, man, I had a tough time with it. And I remember when Dusty passed away, and I had gotten a text message from a friend of mine, and I was on my way to Starbucks, and I pulled in and just parked and reflected. The same thing with Roddy Piper a few years ago. So this one is Wrestling Scene. This one's with a nice silver. See that one? Now this one I wrote about in my book. This is the one that got us banned. I've shown it a few times, but I don't think when I've shown it on an episode, I think it was season 2 I showed this, but this is the one that got us banned. And this is signed by me, my dad, Reggie, and my mom signed it. But if you look here, I finally got Harley to sign this last year. And so that is the one that got us banned. This is a nice one. This is a Japanese World Wrestling Color album. Dory and Harley signed this one. This is a little booklet, which is a nice one. All right, this one is Harley Race Wrestling Other Wrestlers, and this is Ric Flair, obviously. So we need to get Rick on that one. I'm having all kinds of technical difficulties. Season 4, episode 1, you're going to have these difficulties. This one is Harley Race, signed here with the 10 pounds of gold. And this one, Ricky Steamboat with the old stash. It's a good magazine. Sports Review, 1981, summer of 81. That's a classic mag. This one is one of my all-time favorites. Harley Race, Tommy Wildfire Rich. It says, "Am I good enough to beat Harley Race again?" Harley Race says, "No, you're not." So I will always cherish this one with the little message from Harley. The next two, we've got Harley and Dusty Rhodes, the great feud in the late 70s and early 80s. This is the one that Dusty won Inside Wrestling, and got Harley to sign that one. And then here's one where he is wrestling Dusty, and Dusty's on the cover twice. And this one signed by Harley Race. Here's the last little segment here we're going to do is Harley Race in the pose. And as you know, I mean, it didn't matter if he was sitting down, if he was standing up, when he posed with the 10 pounds of gold, there was nothing better, and nobody did it better than Harley Race. And here's a few. This is the Central States Wrestling Review. And now we're going to get to the 10 pounds of gold Harleys. This is a program from Detroit, season finale of season 2. I went through this program in detail, so you can go back and check that one out. But I did get Harley to sign it. This was on the back cover of that program. This is a famous one. I know a lot of you have it. My great friends, Matty Montcalm, Mike Parker, all have this one, but this one's signed, the PWI, when Harley won the belt for the 8th time. And then this one, and that one might have been the 7th time, but you know what I mean. All right, the last two are the two Japanese. These are my two favorites. It's hard, man. This is difficult for me. This guy was my childhood hero. A lot of you, myself included, you know, I'm a big Daredevil fan. You know, I'm a big comic book guy. You can follow me on my comic book channel on Twitter at Weekly Comic Book. But Harley Race, man, he was a superhero. When I opened magazines and he was the world champion, I mean, you know, that was these guys I followed in the magazines. I watched on TV as a kid, and it just is tough. So here's the last two for you. This is a great Japanese magazine. Again, any way he posed with the belt, it was just classic. And then my last one is my favorite. He wrote 8 times on this one. It's from 1977. And I just think it does not get any better than this. The beard, the belt, the autograph, the Japanese, the rarity of it. He's a legend, man. He is a legend. So I appreciate you joining me. Wrestler Weekly, Season 4, Episode 1, Harley Race. Our dedication for Dr. Reggie, for Mike, yours truly, Scottie Richardson. Until next time, fans, so long for now. Hey guys, one last video. I wanted to show this to just kind of end the Harley episode. I wanted to show you probably one of the most cherished items that I have in my collection at this time. If you can see this, let me see if I can flip my camera around. All right, here it is. This is Harley Race signed my 10 pounds of gold, and this was the belt that my wife had surprised me with when we weren't married maybe 3 or 4 months. I wrote about it in Family Bacon Wrestling, which you can find on Amazon. But Harley Race signed this, and I'll tell you a quick story on how Harley signed it. One of my former basketball players who became an assistant coach of mine, John Repass, and his wife, Hillary, were taking a trip to St. Louis, where Hillary's parents were living. And I had been in contact with Leland about getting some things signed from Harley. And Hillary's dad, who was a big wrestling fan back in the day, John and Hillary, flew across the country with my 10 pounds of gold. And Hillary's dad went over to the wrestling school there and got with Harley, had a great conversation. Harley signed a few things for me, including this belt. And so it is one of the things that I cherish the most. And as you kind of scroll down here, yeah, this is the Dusty Rhodes. Dusty signed it. Turn the camera there a little bit, but Dusty signed this belt as well. And if you want to learn about all the signatures that I have on this belt, you can find that in season 1 of Wrestler Weekly Presents. But this is the one.
I'm going to name you, and then I'm going after the person that conspired with you to put the world's heavyweight title on the line. Mulligan, there's nothing that I'm going to enjoy more than tormenting you